Welcome back to TransGuyReacts. My name is Nick. I make videos about women's basketball, collegiate or professional, and today I'm talking about the WNBA games for Sunday, September 15th. I can never remember the day of the week. Today there was a lot of games on. There were 6 games on, so everyone played today, but not all of the games mattered. Before I get into the games, though, let's talk about the transactions that happened today. So Sophie Cunningham from the Phoenix Mercury signed a contract amendment for a time off bonus kind of situation with the Phoenix Mercury. She also had a contract extension through 2025, so great for her. Congratulations. But like I said, the games today, all the teams did play, but only 2 of the games mattered because there's only one more spot left for the playoffs. So there's only 3 teams that are battling for that, and so they played in 2 of those games were played today. All the other games, like I said, were positioning. So the first game was the Atlanta Dream versus the Washington Mystics. This was an important game because they both are trying to get into that playoff spot. But Aaliyah Edwards was out for an ankle injury, and Shakira Austin is confirmed out for the remainder of the season for the Mystics. So you got 2 very important people out of the game, so that's going to definitely play a factor. The Dream had to win this game to stay in contention for the playoffs. If they would have lost this game, then they wouldn't be able to go on, so this is a pretty big deal. But the Dream pretty much were in control of the game most of the time. The Mystics came back at the end of the third quarter to tie the game, and then the fourth quarter was extremely tight. Kind of crazy. There was a lot of turnovers coming from the Mystics side and missed shots, leading to a tie of 70-70 going into overtime. Then in the overtime, the Mystics made a lot of errors, a lot of turnovers, bad decisions, and Atlanta was able to win, keeping their playoff dreams alive. So the score for that game was 76-77, so pretty close game. The Mystics, Ariel Atkins had 16 points. Shatori Walker-Kimbrough had 13 points, and Sika Kone had 11 points. No one else was in double figures. Emily Inkster had 8. But everyone else was Carly Samuelson and Brittany Sykes had 8 points. It's just not enough firepower. Atlanta Dream, Ryan Howard had 14 points. Nas Hillsman had 10 points. Tina Charles had 20 points and 10 rebounds for a double-double, of course. Lots of steals in this game for Atlanta. Multiple people had 3 or more steals. Alicia Gray had 12 points, 9 rebounds. Jordan Canada had 14 points. Yeah, just a lot of more firepower and consistency from Atlanta, and they were able to pull that off, so good for them. They're still in playoff contention. The other game was the Dallas Wings versus the Fever. I didn't watch that game. I don't watch Fever games because of the racism, and this game didn't matter because the Wings didn't make the playoffs. They were eliminated, so this was just about placement for the Fever, and that game was actually a pretty close game. The Fever did win by 1 point. It was 110-109, so pretty contentious game. Even though the Wings did not have to play hard. They did, but they ultimately did not win. But it was a pretty high offensive game, so good for them. Satu Sabali had 27 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. She was in foul trouble. She had 5 fouls. Natasha Howard had 26 points, 10 rebounds for a double-double. Tierra McCowan had 14 points, 6 rebounds. Arike Gubawale had 27 points. Just a lot of firepower coming from those folks. On the Indiana Fever side, Aaliyah Boston had 15 points. Kelsey Mitchell had 30 points. Caitlin Clark had 35 points and 8 assists and 5 turnovers because, she is the turnover queen. All right, now moving on to the next game, the Minnesota Lynx versus the New York Liberty. Again, this game did not matter much. They're playing for playoff positioning, and the Minnesota Lynx did win this game 88-79 on Liberty home court. So that's a little embarrassing for Liberty. But Brianna Stewart had a monster game, though. She had 38 points, 18 rebounds for a double-double. That's crazy. Sabrina Nescu had 13 points, 8 assists. Niara Sabli had 9 points, and Jonko Jones had 9 points. So it's just the people who should have been scoring were not scoring. So Courtney Vanderson only had 2 points, but Nigel Laney only had 5 points. It just wasn't a good night for everybody. Monster night for Brianna. For the Minnesota Lynx, Bridget Carlton had 19 points. Nafisa Collier had 18 points, 13 rebounds for a double-double. 3 steals. She was in foul trouble, but still. Kayla McBride had 11 points, 6 assists. Courtney Williams had 15 points. Maisha Hines-Allen had 12 points. So, yeah, just a lot more firepower coming from the Lynx offensive power. Now, the other game that actually mattered was the Phoenix Mercury versus the Chicago Sky. The Sky really needed to win this game to maintain that eighth playoff spot. They did have Diamond DeShields out for her injury, and then Camila Cardoso was listed as day-to-day, but she ended up getting hurt in the third quarter of the game. She re-injured her shoulder, so then she was out for the rest of the game. Kalia Copper was also out for back injury. From what I could see of the game, I was watching a little bit of it. It was very high scoring. At the halftime, it was 55-57, so pretty close. It was a really close fourth quarter, but ultimately the Sky did lose this game, 93-88. So that is definitely putting them in a little bit of a trouble. For the box score, Rachel Banham had 17.7 assists. Michaela Onyenwere had 18 points, 9 rebounds, almost a double-double there. Kennedy Carter had 20 points. Dana Evans had 13 points, and Isabel Harrison had 10. So a lot of good contributions from the Sky. It just wasn't enough. Them missing so much firepower. Missing Diamond, missing Angel, missing Camilla. It's just too many people out. For the Phoenix Mercury, Sophie Cunningham had 13 points. Brittany Griner had 26 points, 10 rebounds for a double-double. Fantastic night for her. Diana Taurasi had 25 points, the GOAT. Natasha Cloud had 18 points, 11 assists for a double-double. Just a fantastic night for the Phoenix. They played exceptionally well this game. The other game was the Connecticut Sun versus the Aces. Again, this is about positioning. They're both in the playoffs. The only big thing that I could talk about this game is that Asia dropped 29 points in this game to reach 1,000 points for the season. First WNBA player ever to do that in a single season, to reach 1,000 points. So congratulations to her. They did win this game 84-71. So great win for Vegas. Box score for this, Brianna Jones had 17 points, 9 rebounds. Taisha Harris had 16 points. Marina Mabry had 18. And that was kind of it. Joanna Bonner and Elisa Thomas did not have a good night. They both had 6 points, so just not enough firepower coming from the two stars. For the Aces, though, Jackie Young had 13 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds. Asia Wilson had the 29 points, the 9 rebounds, 2 blocks. Kelsey Plum had 14 points. Chelsea Gray had 9, Megan Gustafson had 8, and Tiffany Hayes had 6. But yeah, monster game for Asia, as always, just continuing to break records and be the best player in the league, hands down. And the last game of the day was the Los Angeles Sparks versus the Seattle Storm. The Sparks are out of contention for the playoffs, so this was just about positioning for the Storm. Odyssey Sims was listed as day-to-day because of a hand injury in the last game. Ari McDonald was out. And then for the Storm, Jewel Lloyd was out for a knee injury, and Nezzy Magmavor is out because she has a concussion, which is unfortunate. But even with that happening, the Storm still did win this game, 90-87. It was very close, but the Storm prevailed. The Sparks, Rickea Jackson had 22 points. This rookie is, man, I'm so sad that she's not on a great team, but she's a fantastic player. 22 points, crazy. Dearica Hamby had 25 points, 11 rebounds for a double-double. She had a lot of turnovers, though. Odyssey Sims had 20 points, so she did play in this game. Luckily, she had big monster numbers, but those were the only high-scoring people in the game. Everyone else was making 4 points, 6 points here and there. For the Storm, Gabby Williams had 22 points. Whoa, Gabby, 4 steals. She's really getting comfortable with the Storm now. Neko Wumike had 23 points, 7 rebounds. She was in foul trouble, though. Skylar Diggins-Smith had 19 points, 6 assists. Jordan Horston had 16 points, so just a lot more firepower. As it helps. Offense really helps. You got to play defense, of course, but if you're not hitting your shots, you're not going to win the game either. So yeah, that was the recap for today. A lot of games on for sure. If you like this kind of content where I do a little recap, please like, share, subscribe, follow, do all the things that you do on social media, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.